Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Full Court Press. I am your host, Drew Duncan. Do not forget that Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan 83. Additionally, you can follow me on YouTube. Simply look for Drew Duncan. And, of course, the Full Court Press is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Just look for TFCP83. And now you can simply tell your device to play the Full Court Press by Drew Duncan on Spreaker, Spotify, or Google Podcast. I want to get into UFC and Rumorville right now. A report just came out in an interview with Khabib, and Khabib basically said, look, McGregor's not on my list of people to fight right now. He's going to have to work his way back into this. Roughly around early May, though, was kind of a different tone in a way, right? Khabib's manager had said that Khabib had given him very specific instructions that he was going to fight three people and that one of them may or may not be McGregor. But even then, they said that they wanted McGregor to fight Ferguson or Cerrone or somebody in that neighborhood to prove that McGregor deserved another fight. So let's just start with that. First of all, like I've talked about a couple of different times, there are a lot of people saying the name McGregor. Tyrone Woodley, Khabib, Nate Diaz. The list goes on and on and on. And now, supposedly, even Floyd Mayweather Jr. has said that he wants a rematch with Conor McGregor. The name McGregor has been officially solidified, whether Khabib wants to admit to that or not. On the level of everybody knows that they're going to get paid, money talks, bullshit walks, and Khabib decided that he doesn't really care about that to an extent. Now, Khabib has not given us the details of his new contract. It has been rumored that it is exceptionally lucrative and that he couldn't be happier with the result. And remember now, Khabib was actually given less money than McGregor in his win than McGregor got in his loss against Khabib. That's what the name McGregor does. Now, to Khabib's point about McGregor having to prove himself, I have said this over and over and over again in MMA, that the ongoing problem is that a Dana White has come out and said that McGregor is going to be first in line for a title shot. McGregor is the next man up. Why? I said this with Ronda Rousey, and I remember very vividly interviewing Cub Swanson about this when Cub called and I said, look, why is Ronda Rousey getting an opportunity directly after losing the title to Holly Holm to being gone and then getting another shot at Amanda Nunes right from the outset? Why isn't Ronda Rousey fighting a couple of people to work her way back into contention? And I said that on a lot of levels, it would have helped the UFC and Ronda Rousey's cause. It would have helped the cause of Ronda Rousey because if she gets a couple of wins, then people go, you know what? She's earned her way back. Let's see what she can do with a title shot now. It would have helped the UFC because with the respect that Ronda was getting at that moment, then the fight buildup would have been enormous. Because now you have the wave of Ronda Rousey trying to get her title back. She's battled back from this loss. She had this target on her back, as she made mention of. The build alone would have been incredible, especially given the way that Amanda Nunes has said on several different occasions she views Ronda Rousey, right? Didn't she say right after the fight, stop talking about Ronda Rousey, that there's other women in this sport, other women in this division. I'm the champion. I'm a defending champion now. And by the way, since Ronda Rousey, in her weight class, Amanda Nunes has been the only one to successfully, defend that belt. Period. So when it comes to McGregor, I agree that he should fight somebody else. And I've been waiting on McGregor to fight Tony Ferguson for a long time. Ferguson, a couple of years ago, said that he was saving his best material for Conor McGregor. He's been wanting to fight Conor McGregor. He's been chomping at the bit. Donald Cerrone is another guy who said the name McGregor. Supposedly they were about to get a fight together. Neither one of them could come to terms. There was the rumor, again, Rumorville, about whether or not this thing was going to be a main event, whether or not it was going to be for a title contention. I mean, there was all this stuff going on, and ultimately neither side could come to an agreement. So Dana White had to nix that. Then, of course, you have the rumors going on that Khabib has started now with Conor McGregor, saying that he begged him to stop, that he was going to kill him. That's what Khabib says. I haven't heard McGregor confirm nor deny that so far. McGregor's usually a guy who jumps on top of things pretty quick. So at this moment, while this is being recorded, McGregor has not come out at this moment and said anything yay or nay. So again, as far as I'm concerned, that's hearsay and rumor. And this is good and bad for the UFC. Look, here's what we do know, is that coming up September the 7th, which was the date that they announced way back in May, is that they were looking at having a fight. Now they've got a fight, and we're going to see what happens. The other part of this whole rumor thing is that Khabib is trying to draw out GSP, saying he wants to fight him, a man who's retired from the sport. This is all bad for the UFC right now. It's bad for the UFC right now because part of what Habib talked about with McGregor, not only earning his way back, but losing the fights. It's a big deal. McGregor, for far too long, has been allowed to do whatever he wants to do. Dana White finally stepped up and took some responsibility for this. I think right now it's on McGregor to work his way back up. Because right now, if McGregor were to fight Khabib for a title and nobody else, it would be a problem to everybody in the UFC. It would be a problem to everybody in the fans. I don't care what the pay-per-view buy rates would be. Ultimately, when all is said and done, what if McGregor loses that fight? Then it's the same conversation that I'm having right now again, and that is, why in the hell are we giving people who lose titles another chance at the title directly afterwards? Even Muhammad Ali, the late, great Muhammad Ali, when his license was taken from boxing, and remember, nobody beat him for it. Nobody beat Muhammad Ali for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was taken from him because he had his political views, and as a result, they stripped him, unfairly I might add, of the heavyweight title of the world. And even he had to fight 2 fights before he could take on Joe Frazier. And it was good for him to fight those fights because, number one, it proved that he was ready to be back in contention. And for 2, he had to get some warm-up fights. And that's exactly what needs to happen with McGregor right now. Huge layoff. There's no reason for him to go and fight for a title right from the outset. It doesn't need to happen. McGregor definitely brought this on himself. Khabib definitely brought this all on himself. The riot and all the kind of stuff that happened afterwards was 100% their fault. What I'm saying to you is that McGregor should not just come back and fight for a title. It's not a good look. To a lot of people out there, McGregor's already been given several chances. Here's what we do know. Khabib's got a fight coming up that he's focused on. He wants to fight somebody after that. And I do believe that Ferguson should fight Conor McGregor for contention. Then I think he needs to run it back with Cerrone afterwards, regardless of whatever happens with that. If Ferguson wins, then I think it should be McGregor and Cerrone. If Ferguson wins, it should be Ferguson and Cerrone. If McGregor wins, then the next fight needs to be McGregor and Cerrone. And then the winner of that fight needs to go on to either take a championship bout, right? Or Cerrone needs to go back if he beats McGregor and fight Tony Ferguson. And then the winner of that fight gets a shot at Khabib. Look, plans get ruined all the time. If you don't believe me, go ask Deontay Wilder, who called out 3 fighters that he wanted to fight. One of them, which was Anthony Joshua. The other one was a rematch with Wilder, which he said would happen next year. But now that's not going to happen for a while because Anthony Joshua is going to have a rematch with Andy Ruiz coming up in December per their old contract. So all this let's plan stuff is all out the window. That's why I say right now this is all rumorville. This is all hearsay. The only thing that we know for certain right now is that Khabib has a fight coming up, and it is planned, written, set in stone. And even then, we've seen how things can happen. Guys can get hurt, guys can get sick, guys can pull out, and that's all there is to that. So even then, that is still not, even though contractually it's there, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen. And while I am a huge Conor McGregor fan, I always do my best to put my fandom aside and say, look, this is the responsible thing for the UFC to do, for Conor McGregor to do, to build back up his reputation. Because there are a lot of people that believe what they saw in that second round with Ferguson and Cerrone. Anybody watch that fight, there are a lot of people that believe that Tony Ferguson would wipe the floor with Conor McGregor. Now, I'm not one of those people. I think that would be a hell of a fight. But what I'm saying is that McGregor, to me, needs to go out and prove that he is still a top-level fighter who deserves a shot at getting his belt back. There needs to be unifications. I'm tired of all this interim crap going on. I've been tired of it for a long time. I have been saying for a long time that the interim needs to go away. I understand that there are extenuating circumstances, but if those extenuating circumstances happen, then immediately after an interim title is decided, then after that we need to find some way somehow of unifying the belt. If the belt happens to get dropped for any reason, don't even call it an interim championship. You are the current champion. The other person cannot defend for this reason or that reason. That belt is not theirs until they can fight for it again. I would say that needs to be the case in 90% of cases at least. Period. Guys, I am Drew Duncan, host of the Full Court Press. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan 83. Additionally, you can find me on YouTube. Simply look for Drew Duncan. The Full Court Press is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. You can also type in at TFCP83 in the Google search box. And now we are on Google Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and Spreaker Podcast. Simply ask your device to play the Full Court Press by Drew Duncan. And as always, don't you dare touch that dial.